Hey guys, hope you're all good, and today we have a battle featuring myself leading the great forces of the Old Ones, the Lizardmen, up against the Cold Knight and his Greenskin horde, so it should be a pretty fun game overall. We are on Blood Pine Woods. So for my force today, we're going to be trying a bit of a fire base, shoot the opponent off the field type build, which is not what Lizardmen are known for. They're known for their big dinosaur rushes and hardcore infantry, and a lot of people prepare for the big dinosaurs, but instead we have two little packs of chameleon skinks, both in sets of two, so two down here and two directly in front of the enemy. Chameleon skinks, one of the stickiest units in the game, poison, very fast as well for infantry, and of course they have a nice resistance to missiles as well. They're pretty perfect, to be honest, up against the Greenskins, who aren't the most heavily armoured faction. They can take down giants, savage orc biggins, all that type of good stuff. Up in the skies, we do have a couple units of Pterodon riders. Now, often the Greenskins will go for a bit of a Dakar line here, so we've got two of those to harass the back lines. And then for our main battle line, we just have some Saurus warriors dotted around, protected by the cohort of Sotek, as well as some red-crested skink brethren. We have a couple units of skink cohort javelin on either flank as well, just for more ammunition as well. We have a Bastillodon with a solar engine who brings that fire and magical damage, and the fire damage is now extremely important up against the Greenskins. They can often bring Grom, the River Troll Hag, of course, and trolls in general all weak to fire. Going along with that, we have the Umbral Tide, and if you've been a fan of my channel for any length of time, you know I absolutely love these fire doggos, and I think they can do some huge work. They have stalk, so the opponent does not know they're there, and they come in with massive burst damage, and especially when combined here with a Slan Mage Priest of Light. I normally didn't used to use the Light Slan too much, but I've been using Slans a hell of a lot more recently. And then we've brought Far's Protection, Shem's Burning Gaze, believe it or not, which I don't think is a very common spell pick, but I thought, fire, magic damage can help versus trolls and so forth, but the Net of Amantok is really going to be key here, pinning down those foes and allowing our Umbral Tide to really pack that punch and deal the damage. Now, for the forces of the Greenskins here, there's something I've seen a ton recently, and that is Savage Orc Biggins in the front line, and he has 3 units of these bad boys. It seems to become a bit of a meta to take these guys up against the Lizardmen, but their one weakness, of course, yes, they do a ton of damage, especially to large foes as well, but they have 0 armor, so we're going to be taking our chameleon skinks and popping on top of these guys as soon as possible. He has a couple of trolls as well. I prefer the stone trolls, definitely, because they're missile resistance. But these guys a bit more cheap and cheerful and can certainly do the work as well. Looks like we have some night goblins, including... Oh, is it just the 2 basic night goblins here? So 2 night goblins. I thought there's going to be some regiment around, but it looks like not. We're going to have some savage orc arrow boys in the back line. And these guys are pretty damn good because they're also very good in melee combat. However, once again, 0 armor makes them incredibly squishy. It looks like for his leadership, he has gone for Grom the Paunch as well, onto his mighty chariot, bringing all his spells and buffs. He's a very powerful combatant indeed, and a glorious fellow, look at him. But he does have Axe of Grom, the Lucky Banner, which is so goddamn powerful, and a Great Urn is here. So interesting to see how he plays. And he also has a giant River Troll Hag over hidden in the trees. He does also have the Ragnarok Spider, no Queenie, unfortunately for him. And it looks like the Giant River Troll Hag is going to be bringing quite a few spells, including Spirit Leech, Fate Abuna, Purple Sun, all that good stuff. Without further ado, let's get this underway. Now you can see the Savage Orc Boys trying to trade back against the Chameleon Skinks, but they're going to do pretty much next to no damage due to the missile resistance and the skirmish formation these guys do bring, and we are unleashing dart after dart into these Savage Orc Biggins, and they are losing so much health, down to half health already, and that's really going to help us hold that front line for as long as possible to ensure that this Bastillodon and Umbral Tide really start getting in that damage. As you can see, we're instantly starting to target the giant River Troll Hag here with Gary the Bastillodon, doing some huge damage straight out the gate. We do get a cheeky rock drop as well on top of these Night Goblins. Probably should have done it over on top of the archers, to be honest, and for our efforts we are going to get Spirit Leeched as well. But if he's using Spirit Leech on Pterodon Riders, I'm not too fussed. They're not hugely key to the build, but they are quite helpful. So, Giant River Troll Hag taking quite a bit of damage, but in the front line, this unit of Savage Orc Biggins is barely going to make the front line, down to just 40 models, but a lot of those remaining models have basically no HP per model, so they easily get dragged down by Saurus Warriors and the like. Looks like the giant Ritual Hag is taking an absolute hammering. Nice play by my opponent though, trying to hide behind the tree line. And the frontline engagement is getting underway. You can see those Savage Orcs never even reach. And these Trolls, after simply one volley from the Umbral Tide, are already shaken. And as the second one comes in, these guys break and are down below half health. Huge damage output there from the Umbral Tide. Now, the Ragnarok Spider is roaming along the front line here, as we have pushed up our red-crested skinks in an attempt to help out the Saurus, who are going to be taking a little bit of a beating for the old ones today, unfortunately. Now, the Bastiladon has switched over to these Trolls, trying to force them back as much as possible. Night Goblins don't even reach the front line due to the consistent damage output. Look at all these missiles coming in. We do net of Amantok down at the giant Ritual Hag, and now she's pinned. The Umbral Tide are simply going to unleash fiery hell down upon her, and she goes down in just a couple of remaining volleys. Huge work so far from the Umbral Tide. You can see they've even completely broken this left-hand flank for the Greenskins. Now, the Ragnarok Spider is pushing up onto the Bastiladon here, which is of course not what we like, but if she is targeting the Bastiladon down, our Chameleon's going to be slowing her down with poison, and the Umbral Tide are going to be feasting tonight, unleashing round after round, doing so much damage. Now, the Pterodons are just flying up high in the sky, trying to chase off units where possible and assist, and basically just be an absolute nuisance. Shield of the Old Ones does go down, just to try and help these Saurus hold that centre pocket, as we are slowly starting to lose the front line, and we have yet to shut down the Savage Orc Araboys. However, the Ragnarok Spider does finally get on top of the Umbral Tide, but after so much missile pressure, she is going to be forced off there. Grom finally doing what he should have been doing most of the game, pushing through into the back lines, but even on his chariot, he can really struggle to catch Chameleon Skinks with their poison and relatively decent speed, so we are going to let him down, and he has popped Lucky Banner. We're giving him that 40% damage resistance, which is really helping because he would be pretty much dead already. You can see the health he's losing just from a couple of volleys, even with that banner equipped. So we're going to be taking these Pterodon Riders, trying to hunt down the Ragnarok Spider where possible and keep her fleeing. Gary is just launching shots into routing troops, trying to keep them off the field as much as possible. Grom the Paunch still has Lucky Banner popped, but he's down below half health now and incredibly close to breaking. Saurus are starting to win the front line now due to help of red-crested skinks and some skink cohorts who have flanked around, throwing in those javelins. The changes to poison have really helped out Lizardmen, in my opinion. Chameleon skinks and all the skinks basically that deal poison damage much better now that you cannot friendly fire the poison and give that debuff to your own troops. So anyway, let's do a little bit of analysis. So well played to the Gold Knight there, sorry. And coming with a pretty decent build overall. I think it was Tlaxland's Soothsayer who started bringing Savage Orc Biggins, or at least made it popular, to bring a few of these guys mixed in with trolls and other kind of tools as well. Can do some fantastic work, but it does suffer from being counter-skirmished, unfortunately. Now, the Lizardmen aren't known for their skirmish, but my god, can they put out a ton of long-range damage, and they could do this even before the patch, but as I said, the changes to poison have helped them out so much. Skink cohorts with javelins are great value for money, and Chameleon Skinks are a menace in the night, especially against Greenskins, who don't have fantastic tools for chasing them down, apart from, goblins, goblin kind of wolf riders and so forth, but they're a little bit squishy themselves. They do tend to get fended off, and the combination of the Umbral Tide, the Bastiladon, and the net just works absolute wonders, especially when you can slow down and poison the enemy troops which are breaking into your back line, and you have that solid core as well of Saurus warriors and the cohorts just to hold back the Greenskin onslaught as long as possible and allow your other units to really start racking up that value. So anyway guys, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please do consider giving the video a big old thumbs up and subscribing if you haven't already. We do Total War Warhammer content all week, every week, including tournaments, King of the Hills, campaigns, and mainly multiplayer battles. If you want to see your battles featured on the channel, or just get involved in any of the tournaments or King of the Hills that I previously mentioned, feel free to join my Discord. There's a link just down below in the description, as well as a link to my Patreon if you want to support in any other way. Anyway guys, until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.